So we learn while statement, do while statement, and the use of break statement to exit the loop early. Let's learn a new statement, which is called continue statement. And continue is a keyword. So what does the continue keyword do? So it causes the next iteration of the loop to begin immediately. So if there is a continue statement in a while loop, then once this statement will execute, your code will jump to the beginning of the while loop and it will skip all the statements which are coming after it. Okay, so here the continue statement, it causes the next iteration of the loop to begin immediately. So whenever your program will see a continue statement, it will skip the statements which are coming after it and will go to the beginning of the loop, right? So the execution will be transferred to the beginning of the loop, and it applies only to do while, and for statements. And the format of this is continue and semicolon. So whenever you have to put a continue statement, so you will basically put the keyword continue and the semicolon. Okay, so let's understand this through an example. So let's say I have this example here. And in this example, again, what I want that user should enter 5 numbers, and then your program should basically add those 5 numbers, and then it should store the result into a variable total. And once those 5 numbers are entered, then your program should display the total. Here, one thing that we have changed is that we are asking the user to enter the numbers which are in the range of 1 and 100. Okay, which are in the range of 1 and 100. If a user enters a negative number or a number which is less than 1, or if the user enters a number which is greater than 100, we will not consider that number a proper number, right? So if the user enters a number within the range of 1 and 100, then we will consider it as a number and we will count that number in those 5 numbers. But if the user enters a negative number or a number which is greater than 100, we will not count that number in those 5 numbers, right? So how do we do that? Okay, so let's see, we have this program for that, right? So here we have basically 3 variables, right? So we have variable total, which will store the sum of those 5 numbers, and then we have a variable count, which we have kept 1, right, to keep track the numbers, right? And then we have a variable num, where we will basically store the number which is entered by the user, right? So if you look at this code, initially count is less than or equal to 5, right? So the expression is count is less than or equal to 5. So, and then we have a set of statements inside this while loop, which will be executed if the count less than or equal to 5 condition is true. And when the count less than or equal to 5 condition is false, your program will jump here for false. And for true, your program will start executing from here. Okay. So let's say how this program will execute, looking at the code, and then you will understand the purpose of continue statement, right? So here we have to keep in mind that the number that we are asking from the user, they should be in the range of 1 and 100. If they are not in the range of 1 and 100, then we'll not count that number as a valid number, right? Okay, so let's see that how do we get it using continue statement. So let's walk through this program when it will execute. So first time count is initialized with 1, right? And then we have this condition count less than or equal to 5. Since count is 1, 1 is smaller than or equal to 5, which is true. So then your program will execute these 2 lines. See out, enter a number, then see in num. So let's say the user enters 10. So 10 has been entered by the user. So 10 is smaller than 1, false. 10 is greater than 100, false. right? So this if condition is false, then this 10 will be added to total. So now total, so this condition is false first time. So this loop, this if statement will not execute, and then total will become basically 10, because total you have initialized with 0, 0 and 10. 10, total is 10, and count now will become basically 2, right? And then your code will jump here. So 2 is smaller than or equal to 5, which is true, right? True, right? And let's say now the user enters the number, enter a number, and num, let's say user enters 20. So 20 is smaller than 1, false. 20 greater than 100, false. So this entire expression will be false because both are 0, both the expressions are 0. Then the entire OR expression will be 0. So this will not, this if statement will not execute. So total will basically now update. So total will become basically now 30, and count will become basically 3. So keep it basically. Now, when count is 3, your code will again jump here. So 3 less than equal to 5, true. And let's say user enter a number. This time user has entered a number, let's say 101. So now let's see what happens. Num is smaller than 1, false. Num greater than 100, which is true because num is 101. 101 is greater than 100, so this is true. So this expression or expression will be true. So now let's see what happens. So it will true. So then when it will true, the if statement will execute. So it will display out of range. So it will display out of range. Now it has displayed out of range. Then you have this continue statement, right? So now if this has a continue statement, so whatever comes after it, that will not execute. So this total will not be updated, and the count plus plus will not be updated. Your code will basically jump here. Okay. So count has not been updated. It is still 3. So 3 is smaller than equal 5, which is true. Okay. And then let's say user enter a number, let's say 80. Okay. So now 80 is smaller than 1, false. 80 is greater than 100, false. Right. So then your code will execute. Total is equal to total plus num. Total previously was 30, 30 plus 80, 110. So total will now become 100. And then count will become 4. 4 is smaller than 5, which is true. And then let's say user enters, let's say 0 for num. Okay. So 0 is smaller than 1, true, right? So then it is true, the entire expression or expression will be true. Then your program will basically show you out of range. And then this continue statement will execute. So this continue statement will take you to the beginning of the loop, and then your count has not been updated because these two statements have not been executed. So count is still 4, 4 less than 5, which is true. And let's say now you have enter a number, let's say 20. So 20 is smaller than 1, false. 20 is greater than 100, false. So this entire thing is false. Then you have total, which is basically which was 110. 110 plus 20, it will make total 130. And your count will now become 5. Okay. Then here, you will again ask, enter a number. 5 is smaller than 5, true. Then you will again ask the user to enter a number. Let's say the user has entered 10. So 10 is smaller than 1, false. 10 is greater than 100, false. Then your code will execute total is equal to total plus num, which will make total basically 143. And count will become now 6. And then 6 is smaller than equal to 5, which is false. Then your loop will break and then your code will come here. Okay, so then it will display total, which is 140. Okay, so now let's run this program to understand the application of continuous statement, right? Okay, so let's run this. So here, so you see that it will ask a number, the program will ask a number. Let's say we enter 10, which is basically the number that we have entered. So this will make the if statement in line number 11 false. And then your program will execute line number 15 and total will be assigned to, a total will be added, total will be updated, right? Let's say second 20, that will also a valid number. Now 101. 101 is smaller than 1, false. 101 is greater than 100, true. So this if statement will be true, then you will see out of range. Okay, you see that. Okay. Now let's say again enter 80. 80 is within the range. It will be added to total. Let's say user enters 0. Now, so 0 is smaller than 1, which is true. Then your program will show out of range and continue statement will execute. So that number count has not been incremented, right? So 20, it is valid. Then 10 is valid. Okay, so you see that we have entered 7 numbers, right? But the number 101 and 0, they are not counted as numbers because they are out of range. So we used continuous statement to ignore them. So what happens in continuous statement? So let me summarize. So the moment your program see a continuous statement, your code jumps to the beginning of the loop. It ignores whatever comes after that. Okay. Okay, so that's the benefit of continuous statement, right? So here, since the continuous statement ignores these two, so total is not updated and count is not updated. So that's how basically continue works. All right. So that's all about continuous.